The girls have a good lead. Yeah.
The boys.
Yeah.
I always feel so bad.
Ugh.
Ever since
Yeah.
football, basketball.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like, this is gonna build character, Alex. It's build character. I'm sure that's what you're gonna do.
One more minute.
I was this morning, I had to submit a grant right at 8 o'clock this morning. At first I was only relying on my computer. I'm like, no, sometimes my computer's off, so I'm going with my phone right at 8. Like, well, how long can a minute be? It's so long.
Okay, calling this meeting in order. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everybody. If somebody wants to speak, you need to sign up. I think it's in the back, if anybody needs that. And do we have anybody online that wants to speak?
So far, we only have our ASB president who's there and he knows he's
Okay.
talking tonight. So.
All right, then I think we can get into the announcements.
Yes, so we have Todd from Frontier Charter Academy here tonight, but I'm gonna put him into the reports section so that because Angie is coming, she's just a bit delayed. I want her to be able to get to talk and see if it, without the Zoom box around his head. There's bread that is next to your seat. It is not a baked potato. Yeah, darn. I'll next time again. Already baked potatoes. That's from my husband and myself. And there are nuts in them. So in case I'm not trying to kill anyone here.
Yes,
just
yes.
Full disclosure.
Thank you.
So,
Thank
yeah,
you.
you're welcome. All I have.
Okay, well then, we're gonna go into approval of minutes. If anybody wants to make a motion, or I can do that. I can go. I move that the Durham School District #1 Board of Directors approve the minutes from working session November 10th. And the regular session from November 17th. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I have it. I just want to briefly talk about public forum. Please keep your comments to like 3 minutes. And if you have a complaint about a teacher or employee, that's not the appropriate time to do that here. So anyway, if you have something like that, please contact Angie or do the KL policy. Okay, So did anybody sign up?
No, there's no one signed up.
Okay, perfect. Then I'm just going to go in, is Ashton ready for?
Yeah, Ashton, if you can hear us, you can unmute.
So, can you guys hear me?
We can, thank you.
Good to hear. So I'm going to be honest with you guys, I'm using my mom's computer because mine wouldn't want to start today. So I don't know if this has a camera. I don't see it. So hopefully that doesn't upset anybody. Then I don't have the camera on, but I have all the events. And I'm going to start off with our Spirit Week that we're currently having this week. The events we started with were Monday was Mad for Plaid Day, which was a lot of fun. I didn't realize how many people have like so many different colored flannels. It was really cool to see. We played dodgeball at the assembly on that game and it was really fun. Tuesday, we had our Christmas colors and decorations day where we all dressed up in red, green, blue, white, all that stuff. And put on Christmas like ornaments. We hooked it to our clothes and it was really cool. Some people put them as like earrings and that was awesome. And we played this game where we would have a student volunteer stand in front of the crowd and they would we would make them a Christmas tree and the entire student body, they voted to see the best one. And I believe it was the sophomores that won, or maybe it was the freshmen. I do not remember, I'm sorry. And then for the championship match, after we eliminated 2 of the grades, we did snowmans instead of Christmas trees, which was really fun. On Wednesday, we did Ugly Sweater Day, when we played Hungry Hungry Hippos on little scooters from the elementary school, which was really cool. And today we did Dress as Your Favorite Holiday Movie Character Day, and we played Bump as our game. And tomorrow's is going to be PJs and Christmas Hats Day, and the game is to be announced.
Oh, how fun.
Yeah, and then for athletics, we have our basketball game tonight. It was girls varsity started at 5, and the JV starts at 6, and boys play at 6:30. Or their varsity plays at 6:30, and JV played at 5 at the elementary school. And our food drive is currently going on right now, and the seniors are winning by miles. Their bin is starting to overflow. The other grades are kind of lacking. The staff's bin is also doing really good. And that is all I have to report to you guys today.
Wonderful. It sounds like you guys are having a really good week.
It is. We are looking forward to our winter break and we are having lots of fun this week.
Now, is tomorrow a half day too, Ashton?
I do not believe so.
Okay. So the kids were just joshing.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
a vicious rumor.
Thank
There's no half day.
Actually, that makes me quite happy. because- Thank you for clarifying.
You're welcome. Don't tell them I said that though.
Thank you, Ashton.
You're welcome. Have a good night.
You too.
Okay, and then as we do a couple of times a year, rather than have your principals come in and do the reports, we ask your directors to come and sit before you and give them an opportunity to highlight some of their unique programs and have you be able to ask them questions. But I am going to start with Todd first. And so Todd, if you want to come up here and just talk about Frontier Charter Academy, on your agenda later tonight is
Signature.
later in the meeting tonight, adoption of the Frontier Charter Academy contract is an action item. And you saw a draft of that last month. So it would probably be nice to just have Todd come and talk about how the year's going a little bit and just get a face with voice.
Yeah, thank you so much. I didn't prepare anything formal, but yes, as far as the year's going, this was, I think, the first year that we did not have any staff changes as far as hiring new staff. So that's wonderful. So we have more of a veteran staff, which is nice, especially in our environment, which is, non-typical for sure. We have post-COVID now, we're back to our Frontier Days where it's like the student events, the face-to-face. Tomorrow's a big one. We'll have over 200 people at OMSI. And so I'll be there at 9 a.m. and meet and greet and get people all in the doors. And so those are real popular. We've gone around and we do things simple as pumpkin patch. We try to do educational things, obviously the OMSI, and we've been out at the coast and the museums and stuff like that. So it's a lot of fun. So those are back ends. Enrollment across the state. I was just having an informal conversation. It's kind of down everywhere, including at Frontier Charter Academy. And so we're working hard. We're working with a agency, Charter Connect, to work on our marketing stuff. And we are actually doing okay. We're holding steady and picking up kids slowly, which is good. So that's a good thing. But that's a reality too. But outside of that, our staff are doing well, working hard, and our students seem to be happy, and parents, and we every day, you know how it goes in education. There's something unexpected. So that's the only thing to expect, I guess. You have any questions for me?
How many kids do you have?
Sure. Well, the student count right now is just over 350, about 351 to 353, kind of hangs in there. The current staff number total is about 37, I think, right now. Of that, about 30 of them are teachers. And then we have some classified and some admin, obviously, and stuff like that. But about 30 teachers. And a lot of it, how do I say a lot of it? I think each grade band in K through 5 has one teacher, one class. And so most of it's in the secondary, obviously, because we have a lot more offerings. So we have a lot of secondary teachers. We're doing some CTE work. We got some grants, and so we have nice EOS Canon cameras. They're doing some digital art stuff, some fun things that the kids are taking advantage of. We took advantage of some of the CTE grants that we could apply for. So
how much are you down? How many students?
you know, down, well, when COVID got going, I think we rolled over 600 at one point there. It was a little too crazy. That's when I think we talked about a cap and everything. We kind of stopped things, but reality is, we were thinking about 400. So we're, 50 kids ish. So, but budget wise and stuff. And I think we'll do our annual report next meeting. We'll talk about that. Melissa will be here. There's some benefits to the state being down, because then the per pupil funding's up and some things balance out and on and on. So we're not in financial dire straits, but we certainly are trying to be fiscally responsible. Keep a close watch on things.
I think we're all building.
Yes.
So from a marketing perspective, what are you doing to market, to do more online? I mean,
Sure. Yeah, well, a lot of it is through social media marketing, Google. It's not my expertise. That's Bo and Tim definitely, but I know enough to be dangerous to speak to it a little bit. And it's a lot of it's through social media marketing and AdWords. And there's this Charter Connect is this outside agency we're working with, and we turned over kind of like our Facebook, which we did a lot on Facebook, especially initially, and Google too. And it's just, pay per click and that kind of stuff, and the certain words and SEO and all that stuff. And so we're trying to drill down, and there's about, when we came here in 2007, or when we started in 2017, we were the 13th virtual school in the state, and now today there's about 21. Yeah.
How many?
So, right. And so there was kind of because there wasn't a big charter grant from the U.S. Department of Ed for like 5-year moratorium in the state of Oregon. Nope, there weren't any. We were one of the first ones to come in after that, and we got the charter grant, and that kind of took off. And so after that, I think a lot of schools started coming in the market. The Oregon Connection schools, they left and they started another connection, and those big companies, start all sorts. So they have about 5 or 6 in the state, and some of them are new. So yeah, that doesn't help enrollment for anybody.
I was gonna say from a competition standpoint.
Yeah.
Then from the other.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. And this will be big. You'll get sick of hearing this on our annual report. What sets us apart is we are very unique in the sense that I believe we're the only school, the virtual school in the state, that has all curated teacher created curriculum. We don't buy curriculum. And that was one of our tenets when we started the school. And we have a long history. I won't go into our history, but that was kind of it. It was like, we can do better than these big curriculum companies because we have good professionals that know how to do this. And that's where you'll see too, when we show up, we'll show you that our scores compared to like schools are very good academically. And so it's so that's a huge one, is that we do that. one of the things we do that some other schools do, I'm not saying we're the only ones, but we do one-to-one Chromebooks. That was a big thing we wanted to do. We wanted to put a good device in every student's hands. And if a student needs a hotspot, we get it to them. Our philosophy was if you were a homeless student, you'd have the same opportunity in our school with technology and access that the kid in the $1 Million Home is gonna have in Lake or whatever, right? And so that was a big thing. So we do that. A lot of schools do that. I'm not saying we're unique in that sense, but not everybody does. Yeah. But the curriculum is probably the biggest piece that we're very unique. Yeah. And low student teacher ratios. We do.
Well, you said you had what, 30 teachers and
Yeah.
50 at the moment to 400.
Yeah, we have very low, our elementary, some of them are 17 students. I mean, if the kindergarten's only 6 right now. I mean, that's much lower than we'd like. Kindergarten kids just aren't coming back for any school. But, we're probably under 20 in most of those elementary classrooms, maybe 25 at the high, which is pretty good, especially in online. Online is different than building. In that regards too, because it can be efficient, you don't have all those bodies in one space either. So, yeah.
So do you have your curriculum online so everybody can see it too?
We can give, so when we get prospective parents, that's a good point. We get perspective because it's not like, oh, just go look at this website, right? Because it's right, the teachers have it. But what we do have is we can give these samples and these examples, and they can see that and see what it looks like in our Canvas system. I think the tech department has set up, like we call them sandbox, and they can go in, we can allow them to go in and see what it's like and all that. One thing, another unique thing about us, because we are small and we do this, so we have 2 academic principals, Bo Neal and Kate Schweitzer. And even as of today, I have a form we advertise out on the social media space. And when a parent says, hey, I'm interested, they fill out just a quick little form. Are you interested? Do you want us to call you or you want us to email you or what? And we have one of our academic principals, depending on the grade of their student, will contact them directly. And they get on the phone with these, they go, wait, who are you, a principal? That's good. That's really the customer service piece of it. And so they can really speak to what our program's like. Our program's not for anything. It really isn't. It's rigorous. But I just heard a parent yesterday on a speak call with Katie, and it was like, we love it. We don't want a special ed student. And special ed is another thing that's very unique. We built, Katie's a special services director. And when we started the school, we said, we want to put all the supports in place for all students, not just special ed. So we kind of built this base level special ed or support structures in. So we have those accommodations going to everybody for the most part. And we've seen where, IEPs, we have to redo the IEPs. And it's like, well, you don't really need this because we already have it. And there's some, philosophies on, well, don't take it out because what if they leave, that kind of stuff. But the idea is that the structures are there for all students. So that was a nice one too. That's unique.
Awesome.
Boy, you got me. I did not prepare to speak tonight, but I'm glad I did.
Great job.
You did.
A lot easier than being on there though.
Totally.
Wait,
Well-
aren't you the online guy?
Yeah, right. All right. But yeah, but like I said, January, I believe we'll be here for our annual report, and we'll take up hopefully less than 15 minutes, but we're excited to share, and we'll have a more formal presentation for you. Get ready for your questions. I'll tell them they're coming at you. But
Yeah, I was just more curious.
no, you're great. No, it's fun to talk about. I don't want to take up a lot of the meeting time, but it's exciting, and fun to talk about. I mean, we love it. We're just educators that said we can do this better. Let's do it. And fortunately, Jervis said, okay.
No, I find it fascinating. I mean, trying to figure out how,
Right.
I mean, when you have virtual,
Right.
you've been doing it for a while,
Yeah.
it's really interesting.
Yeah, and the good thing is we have been, I believe me personally am into my the 13th year in virtual ed. It's crazy. Yeah, I know, that's a little scary. Maybe 12.
Sneaks up on you.
Yeah, it does. I'm feeling it.
Well, thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thank
We
you.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
Hey, Gus, you're up.
We're ready to go.
Hello.
Okay, So, every year, it's a busy year, but, this year has been unique. We have three new principals. We have a new, executive director, vice principal, and new administrator and new, special program. So, so they have, new ideas. So, and there's been a lot of movements and stuff, so easy with that. So yeah, we were working to make sure that we not only clean and organize, and facilitate, but also facilitate spaces for administrators, ideas and programs. Roofing company, the name Tranquil, I asked them for some quotes to prepare the there's an interest, and they were not able to get it on time. So Steve, that's his name, was helping me. He felt bad, so he sent a crew to repair those areas for free.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Nice. That's
Cool.
terrific.
We need more people doing that.
Yeah. So, we're hoping that having replaced before, the winter, but so then, but bad thing, we have another leak, a new leak in a different area. At the middle school, we have new basketball hoops, and now middle school kids can play it in their own school, not have to go basketball games. Right now is a basketball season. So we recently had our garage sale. We hosted a garage sale, and took a lot of equipment and supply that we haven't been using in a while, and put it in the hands of the community that can be used at home. Yeah, we have the, and then we're planning to have another garage sale in the spring.
So you had the surplus and then you had the garage sale for that, right? How well did you guys do? Or not?
I think we made like $300 or $400,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
At least for,
Yeah, I guess
I
they had
used
somebody.
to.
yeah, for.
First, they give it to the dope.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
1,500. Okay.
Well, by the time you pay for the
Yeah,
test. So you have to pay
yeah.
for your hours. So profit. But yeah, it was good that we were able to get the items in the
Yeah.
hands of the community.
Yeah.
And yeah, so they did a
Yeah.
great job. You guys did a great job.
We continue to team Pioneer, Pioneer where it's called the platform. We've been cleaning because that will, it's gonna make it possible to park more buses, more buses in, we can add more gravel, so, to that area. It was a lot of debris over there, so we've been cleaning that.
What areas are you cleaning out there?
And there, in the parking lot with
The parking lot areas in the back back where the buses are?
yeah. Clean in and we know that we pile debris.
Now, are you guys all fully staffed right now?
No, we are a short one, so
Okay. So one
Yeah.
down. And I'm guessing the cleaning schedule is ramped up with the influenza and all that kind of stuff, right?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
we,
talk about the student workers that were.
yeah, I was gonna say that we're gonna open 2 new positions for students. We have two custodians right now, but we can open 2 more positions.
Okay, good.
Where is the walking path? You mentioned something, continued work on the walking path. I'm just curious where.
Yeah.
Where it's at. I haven't.
So the walking path is start right here and the end of the football field and goes behind the soccer field and goes all the way around to our school property, go around and goals by the um, agricultural farm, the FFA farm, thank you. Yeah, so yeah, we clean it, we have with chips, but we still have more to do, I mean, and we have a schedule to get my.
I'm gonna have to go walk that one of these.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, we could, when it gets better or a little bit better weather, or at least not pitch black when you're meeting. We
Yeah.
could go walk the paths. You
Mhm.
can see what it looks.
Trying to add it, like some benches, some garbage cans,
Excellent. Sounds exciting. Has it been used?
Yeah, we have
Or
staff
maybe-
using it,
Nice.
and we also had, the cross-country team
Yeah.
used it, both for practices and, a meet, couple
Yeah.
meets.
Oh, awesome.
yeah, they already use for it.
Is it open to the community? Yeah. right.
Mhm.
So if the community were to go on it, where would they, park and where would they, how would that work?
They will park here behind the school district.
Uh-huh.
And just access through the track,
Okay.
Like if I was going to one of the soccer,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I figured.
And then ideally, once we kind of get all the fencing done, they'll be able to access it, the community could access it during school hours, because they won't necessarily be on school property, but that'll be ways down the
Yeah.
road.
Okay. So right now it'd have to be towards the evening for community members.
Or during the break or summer, yeah,
Weekends.
weekends.
Okay,
Oh, that's
so
nice, though, at least during the weekends, this gate over here will be unlocked, so you can get to it then. Okay.
and I'm
Yes.
assuming you can take your dog. Yeah,
Yes.
which is really nice, because before we were not supposed to do that on the track, so.
And we'll have the, I think Julie got the kind of the garbage can,
Yeah.
have the bags too.
Yeah,
So,
those are
Yeah.
so nice to
Yeah.
have there. So maybe once it gets a little, you know, closer, we could market it in some fashion for our community members, so they're aware. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, that would be all, that would be very good. Great idea.
Okay.
So that's what I have.
Okay, thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
thank you. And for those of you giving reports, if you don't want to stick around, you can.
Yes,
You know,
please
feel
do
free to
not
leave.
feel.
It's
We
been a
know
long
this
week,
is so
day,
interesting.
but
Yeah.
There's a lot going on out there.
Tracy, I think you might be next.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, go watch her.
watch the game, yes.
handouts, sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, here you go.
Okay, I'm gonna report to you on our three-year tech plan, where we are with our goals progress. And so this handout has a lot of words on it, so I'm gonna sum up for you. We have two student goals. The first one is for all students in grades 3 through 5 to receive basic keyboarding instruction. And then down in the blue below it, you can see that the status is advancing. And as planned, Dr. Atwood will meet this spring to plan the curriculum, which will start next year. And so then student goal number 2 is for all students in grades K through 12 to receive safe, legal, and ethical practices for using technology instruction. And you can see that again, that the status is progressing, and Dr. Helms reports that this is happening with fidelity. I like that line, so I underline that. That instruction is happening now and will continue through the spring. On the backside, Dr. Atwood is a timeline of that instruction. And then on the next page, we have 2 educator goals. The first one is that all district staff will receive annual cyber security training. And you'll see the status is complete for that. We started this at the beginning of this school year. All staff were assigned and completed the cybersecurity trainings that are listed up there under implementation. And then the second educator goal, all teaching staff will receive professional development on our adopted digital curriculum. And you can see that the status is progressing. Dr. Atwood gives kind of a timeline of what's of the professional development that's happened so far and what's going to happen. And then on the last page, we have one community goal. And that is that we will host technology information classes to help parents better monitor and assist their students' learning. And you can see that that's progressing, and Dr. Helms reports that that is scheduled to begin in June. Questions on our tech goals?
On the community goal, I see that we were able to secure a bilingual presenter. That would have been really nice for us to be able to do.
Not until the winter months. So in January, we will have, it will be
Great,
bilingual, yeah.
okay, got it. Just a quick question on the typing pal. What does that look like?
It's kind of a game keyboarding thing, so, get your hands on the home row and type these 3 letters repeatedly, and it shows you, you do it forwards, you do it backwards, and then mix the letters up. And then it's kind of like a game, so you get a score. After a little bit, then it shows you actually play a little game where you type those 3 letters to progress in the game. So it's just a fun way to learn.
I remember having, using the typewriter and all of that stuff. I noticed that kids don't actually type very well these days. Yeah.
I can do that too, so I can't really argue.
Who was our teacher? We had the paper towel over him.
Okay,
Yeah.
and we don't do any of that kind of stuff, do we?
Yeah,
Yeah, too bad.
the little blinders on there. My hands shake, so I ended up typing too much if I put my hands on the home row. So I'm more like this. But I'm proficient.
Yeah.
And I think that goal also came out of when Tracy had convened her committee last year, them recognize, the whole committee, getting feedback from staff that we need to do something a bit more directed with kids because everything is so computer based. And so they started with this program with the idea that as we move up through the years and not only grade level, but begin to implement this, that there'll be more pressure as they progress so that they can be more proficient. Keyboard is that a word? Not like a rock star, but
Yeah.
Well, no lie, it's painful watching my son,
yeah.
So that's why I was just asking,
Yeah.
Although it's painful when people watch me text, because I use it. So yeah, and everybody uses their thumbs. It's just different. We're just moving in a different direction, but I was just wondering. Okay, thank you.
If there are no more questions on that, Dandy said that I could geek out a little bit about surveillance systems.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
So,
very sexy.
we recently got a couple quotes for their new surveillance systems have some really cool AI capabilities, and so I just wanted to kind of describe those to you. So first off, they have smarter motion detection. So right now, our current system, it starts recording when a certain number of pixels detect motion. And so it could be, the wind's blowing the trees, or headlights are whipping by, or a bug, or any a flag blowing in the wind. So we end up with a lot of really boring footage, and we end up using a lot of space on our server with a whole lot of nothing. And so these new systems, not only they're cloud-based, and so you have much bigger storage capability, and you can store it indefinitely. And you can also save it, but they're also they can differentiate between, like people's and vehicles versus just any movement. And so they're object-based rather than motion-based. So we end up being able to store more, and when you have less garbage to look at, then it's much easier to see what you're looking for. And then you can also set up, they call them virtual tripwires. So like on a screen, you can draw a line and say, if anything passes, if any person passes this line, send a notification to these people. Or if anybody loiters, and you can draw a box too. If anybody loiters in this box for more than 10 minutes, send a notification. So you can do that for people, but you can also do it because it differentiates between people and vehicles. You can say any vehicle. If a vehicle spends the night in our parking lot, send a notification, or if a vehicle crosses this line that goes over into the fire lane, send a notification. So, and you can set up certain, what times that it monitors that and everything. So another cool thing. And then they don't really do facial recognition, but they do attribute recognition. So if you had, say, a guy in a blue shirt with glasses, you could put that into the system and say, there's a guy with blue shirt and glasses, where did he go? And so then the system pulls up everything that it has that meets that criteria. And so you look at all these tiles and you go, oh, that's him, click on that. And then it shows you everything where that particular guy went. So it just pulls in seconds versus, scanning video for hour after hour after hour. So, and you can also do that with vehicles. So, a vehicle of a certain color. And if we get the right camera and we aim them in, to the entrances to our campus, it'll do vehicle license plate recognition. So as soon as that vehicle comes in, it tags it on the video with the license plate right above it. So later you can go back and you go, well, that car, there was a red car that came in. And so you can find that car and you can see the license plate, and then you can say, where did that car go? And you see everywhere that car went for whatever time period you want to search. And the same thing you can do it with objects too, like somebody had a backpack, where did the backpack go? And I read online an interesting story about, I think it was a school, but they had lost a piece of equipment that was for cleaning floors. Those great big things that are gray, and you walk behind them, you push them. Gus left, he would know what it is. But anyway, they lost one of those and nobody could find it anywhere. So they learned that they could upload, they found a picture, like a stock photo of that thing or something similar, and they uploaded that and the system found it. So just kind of cool things that you can do with the AI. And anyway, these searches, they take seconds. As soon as you put it in, it pops it up versus, minute. You would think it would take a while to look at it all, but it's super quick. And lastly, one of the companies that we got a quote from, all of their cameras do, they call it audio analytics. And so if there's this recording device in every camera that they sell, but it's not like a microphone or anything. It's set up to pick up certain anomalies that you can program, or some of them come default. But if there's breaking glass, gunshot, cry for help, an alarm going off, just a lot of excessive noise, you can have that trigger and send alerts to whoever you want. And so in that way, you can have basically ears all over the entire campus to pick something up, quickly. So, I mean, it's proactive versus reactive. And so, the safety benefits and loss prevention, there's a lot of reasons to get this, but they're very expensive. So, but that's Andy's problem. Anyway, so that's what I have for you on that.
So like how much would this cover, like in terms of like I know we've had so many weird things that have happened over in the bus barn that we have not been able to capture, like who's done what or whatever.
We did get a quote that covered the Pioneer campus and really all of our campuses, including the FFA one.
And what that was like, what was the total on that?
Well, there were two, and the cheap one was 275,000. The other one's 460,000. And that's, both of those are for a 5-year license. And so on the cheaper one, when you have to renew in 5 years, it would be 18,000.
And the initial cost is why it's so expensive.
Wondering,
Yeah.
But the more expensive one, the 461, right? It's also for 5 years,
Yes.
and yet when you renew, what's the price then? On
They couldn't really give me a direct answer on that.
Yeah.
So the difference between, is there something in between? I mean,
Well, we only got the 2 quotes, so.
We're still working on it. I've asked Tracy to continue working on it because if the board decides to go for a bond, then we want to kind of be ahead of the game in terms of what kind of technology do we want to have. And because in the bond proposals you're going to be looking at next month, in every single one of them, there's technology, safety and security, which is
Yeah,
what that is. So you would incorporate that.
I mean, just the fact that of things as they are and you know, just things happening all across the state, all across the country, really, safety is a huge thing, and being able to locate and hear it and having that signal go straight to those individuals is huge. And we aren't secure enough in our campus currently that I'm just, as we all know, so. there.
Crime is really on an uptick now, I feel like. Yeah, people just stealing stuff in general from neighborhoods and that sort of thing. It's really picking up.
Plus, we really need to prepare with the onslaught of people that are eventually going to be moving into this area and how much activity from the Amazon building, not to mention all of the stuff that's going on in Woodburn with building and the progressively, you know, homelessness issue that I am actually seeing come into Jervis. I've never seen that before. That's just had an uptick in the last couple months. So, yeah.
Okay, but just said like people, I mean, parking.
Yeah.
I mean, you see that all the time, right? I mean, I used to walk in the Ivy Woods and there used to be a couple, like, I always walk with somebody in the morning, but they had been, they had parked there and.
Just on 99 right now.
Yeah.
There's that huge caravan of folks that are,
We also, we are gonna get some settlement money from the jail litigation. I have no idea how much that will be. That can go towards this as well.
Okay.
So,
No, that's really interesting, and I think it's. yeah,
It's
yeah.
good. I mean,
Thank you for doing that research.
Thank you, Tracy. Okay, Miss Melinda, you are up.
I will not be as fast as you.
I like hearing about food.
Oh, good.
No,
I got some interest.
I like eating it more.
So seeing as how produce seems to be our big issue this year, I thought that was a good way to start. We've had issues with a lot of food, but produce is really between drought, floods, hurricanes. I mean, for a while we had nothing. I guess produce is just now starting to come out of Florida a little bit, but for a while there was nothing. I mean, obviously they needed whatever they had there anyway that wasn't damaged. So it's really taken a hit on produce. But I thought I'd show you what we do and how we get our produce. So the USDA gives commodities to schools that have National School Lunch Program. It's based on how many meals and students from the year before. Due to COVID, they're still using the 18-19 school year. Next year, they'll be using this school year. So for this year, we had $55,932 in commodities allocated to us. So in February, I choose where our money is going, where we're spending this $55,000 in commodities for the next year, which is really hard in February to predict what's happening the next year, especially when we did it just before COVID. And they said, well, it's so happening. So, but out of that, we are able to put $10,000 to the Department of Defense DoD program, food program. And that's what you have attached here is actually the order form for DoD. And this is only US grown produce. And I'm really happy that it's like it's over 2 pages, a little bit over 2 pages. We were running just at 1 page for September, October. But there still are only 17 items on here. Because you'll see a lot of carrots, a lot of just in different forms. So we love this program. But it is limited on what it can provide, and we are actually down to $751, but I know the U.S. Department of Agriculture is going to be giving us bonus money. As soon as we use up what that last 750, we can apply for more. So we have that. And then we also get through our commodities, for produce, we get direct delivery, canned products. We get our applesauce, our corn, peas, green beans, our pears, all these things and our beans. Then we get frozen fruits and vegetables. Fruit cups, they absolutely love, and they're wonderful. That's all it is, there's fruit in there and it's so good. They're frozen and kids love them. So we have, this year we got apricot. I'm not sure how much they like that one, but, the strawberries and the mixed berry and the peach are the popular. And then we get dried cranberries. And then let's see if our process. So we can take part of our commodities and we send it to vendors to process, like we use Jenny O, Tyson, JTM, Land O'Lakes, Smuckers. We send them commodity money and then they make Uncrustables or chicken patties, chicken tenders, or hamburger patties for us. But out of that process, we also were able to, this year, we did 1,100 pounds. This is the first time we've done this, of apples to get apple slices. We haven't gotten them yet. It's been mixed up with the vendor, but they're on their way. So we'll have those apple slices. And then we also get bonus items. So what happens is they have an overabundance of stuff that wasn't used. So like this year, I think we got fish sticks. So the kids were really happy last year when we had fish sticks. They hadn't had fish sticks. I didn't know how wonderful they were. So now I know that next year's commodities will include fish sticks. So, but we have more on the way because they had some bonus, and raisins. We've had lots of raisins. I'm sure you might have heard about all the raisins we have. We just got another 32 cases. Which is, yeah, these are packs of 144 boxes of raisins. So over 4,000 raisins that we just had in. Applesauce, blueberries, we got some canned mixed fruit. Along with other things, and that will come up again, probably in another month or so. They'll say, hey, we still have these products. Do you want to, they don't go against our commodity, they're just bonus items. So that is how we use our commodities. And it's really fun process, trying to figure out what everyone's gonna do. But I thought, I of course can't base what our fresh produce cost on this year. So I went through last year and what we paid to United Salad was over $86,000 for just fresh produce. Out of that, $56,000 came out of the food service budget. That would be our salad bar or just produce for the kids. And then we have the farm to school grant. There also out of that budget, $1,200 was between United Salad and Farmers. And this year, I have to tell you, we had a new vendor, a new farmer who approached us at a event. I was at a farm to school event and they fall strawberries. So in October, the first of the had strawberries. Now I did have to come in 4 Sundays in a row to pick up these strawberries because he was in Milwaukee and he's from past Umatilla. But it was great. He brought them right to us and the kids were loving them. And we have more. A couple times I said, is there more strawberries coming? So, you know, we were excited about that. And he is also wanting to come and maybe even help with some of the, if we do a farmer's Saturday market again, maybe some fundraising. Anybody who wants to sell lots of strawberries.
I love that whole farm to table thing.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
So anyway, and then we have what $28,000 was spent out of that 86 on the fresh fruit and veggie program, which is for elementary school and middle school students, and it's for them to every day they get a snack. Like it's just a couple pieces of something to try with different fruit or veggie. I mean, we can only afford so much out of the exotic, but I think star fruit was one of their favorites. They're really cute. They're so cute. So We did those and, but we've also had to supplement with other things because we haven't gotten produce, so things that we don't get reimbursed for, like carrot packets, because, or raisins. I've had to send raisins, even, we don't get to claim the money on the fruits and veggie program because we got them for free. So, double dip. That is. That's the purpose. Is there any questions, but anything else on the food service design?
Are you expecting, like dairy and juice? I see that they're going up. You said that in your report. Do you expect that for the following year too? I mean, following year, like
what-
the next?
It's really hard to say, but yeah, it could go up again. I mean, I think it was a pretty minimal raise because we're mid-contract.
Yeah.
So for them, so for our vendors, we have these contracts that are set up
Uh-huh.
with the state and, or with us, with it's our co-op. And this is how much you're gonna charge.
Okay, so it's set for right now.
It was set, but then they had to put a request in to raise it because they can't do it. And we've had several vendors do this. Our Yangs has done it, because the prices of things are so much. They just don't have a choice.
Yeah, well, when input costs have doubled on everything, like corn prices, for example. I mean, it's a given that you're going to see dairy prices and everything else go up.
Right, yeah. So we're expecting a little bit more. They say it's gonna get better, but we don't. Haven't seen it yet.
How do you decide on what you're ordering for the kids in each school?
So for the commodities, I look at for the year, how many times am I gonna serve chicken strips? And then, and so if I'm doing just Tyson, I look at, okay, we have chicken patties, we got chicken strips. We have the chicken drumsticks, which is our highest meal ever. Our kids eat on that. We got drumsticks and scalloped potatoes. They love it. So we do a little bit more of those. So we figure out how many times we're gonna do it, and that's how much we can send over to them. So I'll do like a cycle menu, figure it out. Okay, twice a month we'll do tenders. We've also got after school programs, so we have to consider all of that. So we do the same with the, like our JTM is our beef product. We do, hamburger patties. We get our spaghetti sauce, our chili and beans for the nachos. And we just ordered sloppy joes, which is another item that I've never done here, so we will see how that goes.
The
So we
problem is
just-
Melinda sets the menu and, okay, this is what, and then they don't deliver.
Yeah.
So then-
Oh.
Then she has to adjust the menu.
I really, at the bottom of the menu always says menu subject to change. I really need to put it like this. Because it's been that way. And I can, for one example, is our Tyson products this year. Yep, they're on the truck to Cisco. Cisco says they didn't show up. Or they showed up, but they were shorted, or they've lost them. I mean, literally, my rep had to go into the Cisco warehouse and find our chicken strips. I'm like, I know they're there. I can't pay Tyson if you aren't, so we've had that. We did not get our Yangs product last year until April. Because they couldn't figure out how to get them here, and finally just added them on to Beaverton's order. They had a big order coming in and they said, should we just ship them on that? And I said, great idea. So we did that. So it's just trying different ways and keeping the vendors in contact with Cisco. We had a really hard time getting responses at Cisco, but we now have a good person who's working on commodities and.
Is there any way to, how do we budget for like the food that we serve? Is there any way to increase that? How do we do that? I always feel like because they're not full enough. Like you pack a lunch and they take a lunch.
All the time, yeah. Salad bar is very important to the kids too. So, we have. The food service department is fully funded on these meals. And any grants we might get, so the commodities, so we don't have general funds coming in, or we don't have other ways to make money at this time, so everything is budgeted in what we normally would spend or get reimbursed. That includes the staff time and everything. So
And then these commodities, so what you do is you know what your commodities are going to be. So what's the best price? Like I can get direct hamburger patties from USDA. Is that cheaper? And do they taste good enough? We've had trial and error on a few things that we say is not worth the cost.
Yeah.
But what will the kids really like and want to eat? Because we want to keep them there. You know, we know that corn dogs are extremely popular. You know,
But they're like hungry in 45 minutes.
yeah, and so it's like corn dogs and curly fries they're gonna eat. Other things they might look at and say no. So, but we just.
And
run
part
them.
of that, trying to get kids to understand that, when Melinda mentioned the salad bar, that it's important to teach our kids, like, you have to eat your leafy greens, the other vegetables that go along, because that's what helps the sugar crash from happening, right? What I really appreciate about Melinda's program, like most districts, the majority of districts, food service runs in the red. And so you always have to take money out of general fund to cover it. Melinda and her staff does a great job of making sure that we're not in that position. But I can tell, and also she works really hard to make sure that we've got the student populations combined where everybody qualifies for free lunch. And so that is a big boost for our bottom line as well.
And for kids, you should see the kids coming through the salad bar. I had one boy today had 4 packs, we pre-packaged now because we're still careful with
I
that.
was gonna ask you that.
Yeah, I don't know when we'll ever go back. Not, it's kind of scary. So it had 4 things of broccoli. But he also had 4 things of ranch, but to go with his broccoli, but that's great. He had his broccoli on their plates can be as full as they want it to be. So it's really up to the kids. They can take as much food on the salad bar as they can. So you have the entree and what they set for the standards of what you have to have provide for the kids are just a little bit more at the high school than they are at the grade school. So it doesn't make sense. But the kids can have their entree and they can have as much salad bar as they want.
The salad bar recently opened back up, right?
They did.
I heard.
It was a
Very,
huge thing.
very excited.
They were very excited. We did it. We did
Very,
it
very
in
excited.
September. We were kind of being really cautious. But the kids needed more food and they weren't taking it on the line. So they needed more options. And there's at least 5 options on the salad bar. And sometimes the ones that's real popular right now is the snap peas. The kids are, yeah, I was, yeah. when we started-
Never buy them, they're too expensive.
They are expensive, so they get them, we buy them for the fruit and veggie program for the middle school, and then we'll have a little bit extra just to put on the salad bar because it's things that kids love. I helped with after school one time and the kids came in and were so excited and kept coming back. Do you have more? Can we have the rest of these? So they love them.
The thing that I appreciate so much about your staff is the rapport that they have with the kids too. And I've seen that really means something.
I think that most of my staff are from here. I'm trying to think of anyone who's not. There's one person who lives in Mount Angel. All the rest live in Jervis or Brooks. And so they know
It
the
shows.
family. Yeah. I mean, and they know the kids. I love the gal who is doing the elementary. I'm watching her and she just gets down and talks to them and just like, what do you want? Because sometimes kids at that age are indecisive. So for breakfast, when they're coming to get their breakfast, he's really good about that.
Have you noticed increased need? Because like when I noticed with the Portland Sunshine Division, like they increased like 4 times what they've been putting out in the food boxes. So are you seeing anything happen here at school?
I have seen we will sometimes get reports of some kids to ask for food boxes that we get for the Thursday food share. So people ask me, how can they get a box? And it's not based on income, you just have to put your name, and I say, I don't care if you put Donald Duck, we don't care how many kids are in the household, how many adults, that's all we need to know. And then they can come do that, and we have had kids who've gone to their teachers and asked for, what can we do, and someone has asked us. We've also have a couple staff members who've had to, take time off work for a while. that have said, hey, can we, yeah, you can be part of that. This is not, it's not based on income. Come over here and do that. Did this picture. And it's weekly.
I was at the Coastal Law Conference last week, and so one of the big things that seems to be getting momentum is to go back to everyone eating for free. Not just the state level, but at the federal level as well. So I don't know how that translates. I mean, that will help us and that we won't have to keep trying to document. How do we?
Yeah, I'm not sure, for most people, you don't have to take applications, which is a big problem.
Yeah.
We still would probably have to still do the documentation to get the
Right.
percentage, but other than that, I think it is the best thing that Claire did it before I was here. And I think it was the absolute best thing. And she did it at the request of the school board. So that shows you how important the school board is, because what said, okay, and you'll get this every year in like June from me, like, I think it was $1.10, we will pay of every paid kid. So right now, our reimbursement rate is 73.73, I think. So the difference in that, there are the paid kids. And that they would pay $1.10 for every meal. Well, because our program is still, we're not out for money, as long as we meet everything, we don't want to take anything. So every year, it's like, if we don't need it, we always say, okay, this is what we would have asked. We would have asked you for $36,000 according to this agreement, but we're not doing that. We hold it on to, but we reserve the right to request it at another time. So, and I'm telling you, in February, just before COVID, we did. Things were down and we did a transfer of funds. And then COVID hit and the food service department was doing all those deliveries to all the communities, and we were fine. We were doing very fine.
Yeah.
So we gave that money back.
Well, thank you very much.
I don't think I would want your job.
Yeah,
I love it. I do love this job. It is fun. And I love seeing the kids. They're happy. And the kids do get to decide what food goes on those menus, because they will tell me if they don't like something. And when we have something new, I go out with the fish sticks. I went out and did a poll. I said, who likes these fish? Every hand up. We had one item that we got from someone that looked kind of weird. I had tried it somewhere and I went, I said, who likes this? And they just go. One little girl told me, she says, I just want to throw up. I said, something else. We will do that. I said, I will guarantee you never serve this again. Those days too. And that's the day everybody got Fritos. Yeah. I have to go away with something good. I want them to go, ooh, we got something good at lunch, rather than, oh, they served this awful food. So, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Karen.
No. Okay, well, just to direct you to my board report on page 33. I had put under financial reports, expense year-to-date, all funds should have been revenue. And what I was pointing out is on page 35, which was that in that first upper left-hand box, year-to-date local sources. Last month on our report, we were at 2.57% of our local resources. And on this month for November, we're at 80.06 because we took in 2.5 million in taxes because taxes became due and we collected quite a bit of taxes. So we will still have some more trickle in throughout the year. And, we'll probably bring that up near to the 100% on that expectation because it looks like we're going to get all the taxes that we were expecting to get. So then everything else is pretty in line with where it would be this time of year. And our auditors are still working and we were hoping they might be here tonight, but instead they're going to join us at the January 3rd work session for a little reporting. So the last item I want to talk to you about, well, this is House Bill 4114 passed in 2022. And it added the school district boards to the long list of public roles that require the filing of a statement of economic interest, also called SEI. So currently, for school districts, superintendents and chief financial officers have to file this each year. And basically that statement lists all the sources of income from the previous calendar year. And it's a way to increase transparency and reveal potential conflicts of interest. And so this is overseen by the Oregon Government Ethics Commission, also OGEC. They use a lot of acronyms when they talk about things. So basically what happens next is that we, as a school district, must provide a list of our board members to OGEC. We have to have that done by February 15th. They want not only district contact, but your personal contact information, like your personal emails. And so they can contact you, and that's all they're going to use it for, is for this reporting. And so they will contact the board members in early 2023, and they will ask you to create an account with the commission for filing the document. So then on March 15th, the filing will open for the board. And then the deadline to have this filed is April 15th. So it's 1 month window. They have all kinds of trainings, tutorials, and different things like that out to help. So just, I found this part interesting, but if they are not filed on time, they have sanctions. So the sanctions are $10 a day for the first 14 days you're late. Then it bumps to $50 a day after that, with a max of a $5,000 fine per year. But so we don't want that to happen. So, Dandy and I were talking about this. I'm going to kind of pass some of this over to Samantha. She has more of your information than I have, so she can reach out and get you started on this. And we also will, set up appointments. So if you want to come in here and work with us, either on getting set up in there or on doing your filing, we will sit, be here to help you with that if you need help with it. So we can.
So tell me, what are they asking inside of that filing?
They are asking, like, I remember I had to put down what kind of work my husband did. What, if I had any outside,
Are they looking for outside interest, like have an LLC? Are they looking for, this is where I work? I mean, I'm just thinking of what I have to do for my own company.
Right.
Because
They're wanting to make sure that through your position as a board member,
that we're
you're
not
not
getting
any
we're not-
economic
right,
financial
right.
gain. So if you
Exactly.
look at the. Yeah. Okay, yeah, never mind.
It's totally true though. I mean, because I have to fill out,
Yeah,
I do so
if
much
you
training for
look
the
in
bank.
today's Oregonian, there's an article about Morrow County and what some of those city council members did. And were on a board of like the internet agency, and they voted to give Amazon a discount, and they indirectly benefited from it. So it would be like, for example, I have to list that my husband is a contractor. And did my husband receive any business from? No, my husband did not receive any business from the district last year. And so.
Each individual person. has to do that?
yes, you can completely do it on your own privately, and it is private business too, when you put it in. But when we're just saying we can help you with it.
I didn't want you to get an email from the Ethics Commission and ignore it.
I know.
And so we'll do reminders as we're in that window, because like Karen and I will be tagged in that window too. We're having to do our report. And so, Sandra or myself will reach out to you and say, hey, did you get the email? Were you able to get in? Do you need some help? Do you, that kind of, and the questions are really, like, it's. Oh, well, yes, no,
Yeah,
it's
There's
not,
not a lot.
it's not a lot of detailed personal.
It just has to get done.
It just has to be done, yeah.
Okay, when can we start that? When are we supposed to
Well,
start
the
that?
first step is us giving them your information, and I'm gonna work with Sandra on that. And our deadline is February 15th. But the sooner we get it in,
my understanding from what I went to one of their, webinars on it, is that they'll reach right out as soon as they have your information to get you set up with an account, but the actual time to file doesn't start till March 15th. You have 1 month after that.
But you can do it anytime before that, right? I mean,
No,
Yeah,
it
sure,
doesn't
Mark.
open until March.
so you can set the account up.
That's why I was
Yeah.
like, oh, okay.
Well, let me know March 15th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We will.
And then we have a board meeting then, so I will
we'll just
let you
take
know.
care of
Don't
it.
forget, today's
I
the
mean,
day.
The part you can do ahead of time is just get the account
Account
set
set up, yeah.
up, password, whatever you
Okay.
need. And
Okay. Wow.
were there any questions about any budget questions or anything else?
Oh, I did have one.
Okay.
Yes. Under the general fund expenses, it says year-to-date other expenses. The current one is 24%, but yet the prior year, why was that? I'm just.
What
like-
page are we on? Sorry.
Well,
I was just more curious because when I was like looking at it.
yeah,
I'm
other
like,
expenses is kind of a weird, it's like a 640 and it can be like dues and fees and things like that. I can go in and look and see what really generated more last year that we were in a bigger percentage than this year.
no, you could just like kind of,
It's also a very small part of the budget.
that's exactly what I was.
And
gonna
that's
say.
why you see a bigger
Okay, got it.
range. in
Nope,
that one.
you're good. I mean, I was just like, that's what I figured, but I was like, yeah, it's probably some off.
Yeah, sometimes they bring some highlight out like that and it's just not a very big amount of money, so you can really have a fluctuation pretty easily.
Yeah, well, yeah, when you looked at that, I was like, when I looked at that, I was like, okay, why?
Right.
That's all.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, for my report, I just wanted to highlight that, this morning I did submit the awesome grant, which is $4 million that we would get if we pass the bond. And got notification that our grant has been accepted. I'm assuming it'll be approved, but they don't let me know that thing. The seismic grant is actually due tomorrow, which was really great news because I was freaking out last night at 9 o'clock when I still didn't have the draft from the engineers. So, we worked on it some more today, finishing it up. The bad news is, so the idea of the seismic grant is we were gonna do the gym, the cafeteria, and the front entryway, right? Because if there was a major earthquake event, we want to have a place to feed and have people shelter. Well, to do all of those components, that cost is coming in at $4.2 million. And the grant is only 2.5.
Oh.
And we have to attest at when we turn in the grant that we have money to cover the rest. So we do not have that much money. So we've scaled back the project to do just the gym. And that project is coming in at 2.673, I think it is, 2.663. And so with the grant being at 2.5 million, we would have to come up with about $163,000. We have that money because we sold the other school building. And so we can test, yes, in fact, we can cover those costs. So as we progress towards your decision on the bond, the additional costs that you might consider is finishing that cafeteria and the entryway to make them seismically sound. What is driving up the cost is that we had a geotech study done to see what kind of liquefaction factor we had. The idea is like if there's a major earthquake, how unstable does the ground become because there's water and things like that underneath the couple first layers of soil. And they hit water at 11 feet, which is not great. So then what you had to do, so now we have to do pilings, which means that instead of just securing the foundation with the brackets, you have to drill down into the ground with these huge pilings, right? And to secure the whole building so that if the ground was shaking to the point where it would liquefy, that the whole building's not going to collapse. So that's what drove the cost up quite a bit. Yeah. So again, if in the bond, you have this beautiful cafeteria kitchen space, it's going to have a generator in the new middle school piece. That won't have to be seismically retrofitted because building codes require you to have it seismically sound. So you would have that space, and then you would also have the gym and shower toilet facilities if we get the grant. So I think it positions us very well to be an emergency staging center if some natural catastrophe should happen. So that grant is due tomorrow by 5 o'clock. I have asked the engineers, please do not send me the final thing at 4 o'clock. Now I'm trying to drive into Salem at 4 o'clock on a Friday. So.
Okay.
The other piece that I did mention, the Jewel litigation, we're still having to finalize the paperwork that we're turning in to document the episodes that we've had and the what kids are self-reporting. But I would expect that within the next month or so, we're gonna find out, they're gonna settle. And we'll find out how much money we will get. We won't get it right away, but we'll put that to rest. And then I have on an action item for you to consider later tonight about the Millennial Reach, the firm that we're looking at hiring to do our PR stuff. So that's all I have for now. The rest will be in action discussion.
Thank you. Did anybody have anything for board focus? No. Okay. Did you guys see anything concerning in the consent items?
And you should see that you have a revised consent agenda on your table there. We've added declaring additional surplus items, the old
Oh, there it is.
science materials.
Oh, yep.
And then I'm gonna make a motion.
Move that the Jervis School District Number 1 Board of Directors approve consent items as listed in mass. Do I need
Just the numbers.
7.1, 7.2, 7.3, 7.4, 7.5, 7.6?
All in favor?
Aye.
Who's second? Yeah. Oh, sorry.
second.
Who's second? I need a second.
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. That moves us to the policy review.
Okay, we have our third policy reading on IGAI. And just to refresh your memory, we already have this policy on the books, but the area that was concerning is page 42 of your packet. Item number 1. And so we did the research with OSBA and looked at state statute. Because it's listed just like that in state statute, you can't change the language. And so I had proposed some language that you could add as a footnote expressing what the Jervis School District Board's position is about this statement. And acknowledging that while it's state statute, and you can't change it, you don't agree with it. I know you didn't adopt it last time. But I just wanted to let you know, it's currently on the books.
Yeah.
And so adding the footnote would probably be the best way to position yourself to be taking that stance.
I agree with that.
I'm good with that.
Yeah,
too.
me too.
So go ahead. Sorry.
It's just to make individuals aware that we are reading the policies, make our,
And that we're making this.
and yes, and then we're making us, and that we want our legislators to know also that this is absolutely, yeah, yeah. I mean, they should change it. So, but yes.
I think we're allowed to do like the pay whatever policy when you write in when they have it at their level or whatever. That's what one of the lawyers told me.
Yeah, when they get ready to convene the legislative body,
And
you
that might
guys,
be a good time
Yeah.
to do that.
yeah, I would encourage you to do that as a
Yeah.
board.
Yeah.
Because this is clearly one that you feel passionate about. And you have a whole new group of legislators, like really more than half of them are going to be brand new.
Yep.
Right? So it would be important for you to be bringing to their attention the kinds of things that are difficult for local communities to deal with.
Yep. Yeah. Okay, great. So how do we proceed on this?
So you could, so I provided that language in the confidential memo. Maybe somebody could read that. You could say, I move, you make a motion to adopt this policy with the added footnote.
So I just make a motion then on that, on the IDAI policy.
Mhm.
Okay, so I move that the Jervis School District #1 Board of Directors approve IDAI policy with the added footnote inserted from the confidential memo. All, do I have a second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Is that right?
Mhm.
Okay.
And if you want to, for the record, you might want to just read what the footnote says.
Sure. The footnote is the Jervis School District Board of Directors understands this language is taken directly from Oregon state statute and is thereby unable to change it. However, the board wants to be on the record as stating that they do not agree with this language and believes this language is overreaching and inserts the educational system into topics of personal and family values. And we are referring to the comprehensive plan of instructions shall include the following information: that 1, promotes abstinence for school age youth and mutually monogamous relationships with an uninfected partner for adults. That is what we are referencing.
Consider, I'll give you this one, so you also have it.
There's that one.
Where are we on the policy reading, for the second policy reading?
Yes.
Did anybody have anything that jumped out at them on those? No, nada? Okay, so do I have anyone that would like to make a motion?
Move that the Jervis School District #1 Board of Directors approve the changes to policies IKF, JH,
C and KBA as shown in action items 12-22-8.2.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then it's the Frontier Charter School contract.
So you have the contract in your packet. It starts on page 56. Actually on page 64 of the whole board packet, that's actually page 9 of the FCA contract. We inadvertently left a sentence in there. So you'll see the purple paragraph. It's the second sentence. It talks about last school year. Really what that should be is that after it says state regulations, period, FCA will participate in the online option as well as hosting a face-to-face option and will continue in accordance with ODE requirements. So it just gets rid of the reference to what happened in the past and just talks about the present. And then that's the only other change from the last time that you saw the contract.
But I don't need to reference that when I do the motion.
You can say with the changes as pointed out by Superintendent Stevens.
I had one question for you. It says, the second whereas on November 21, 2016.
What page are you on?
Oh, sorry, page 7, I think.
Okay.
Okay.
More of the exhibit A. I'm assuming that exhibit A, it's not actually attached to this, correct? So it says whereas on November 21, 2026, a charter application in comma, parentheses, exhibit A was submitted by the charter school to the district for formation of the Frontier Charter Academy.
Right, it's not in this contract. They're referencing it. Yeah,
We were
and
just referencing
yeah.
it. I was making sure.
yeah, in the,
I figured it's probably quite large or something.
That's the original one.
And it was a long time ago.
Well, just
Okay, well, excuse me, I cannot get rid of the sniffles and this cough. I move that the Jervis School District #1 Board of Directors approves the changes to the Frontier Charter School contract as shown in action item 12-22-8.3 with the changes as pointed out by Superintendent Danby Stevens. All in favor?
Aye.
So I'm sure one of you is dying to be nominated for
Yeah.
the position of position number 11. Okay.
We have no takers, so where do I need to go on this one?
Just nowhere, you don't have to go anywhere.
Cool, okay.
Say tag, not it.
No, gracias, not for me. The approve the contract for the marketing and advertising firm.
So I have, Angie's giving you the rest of the copies. Or I met with Millennial Reach, representative, from that, Woodburn-based company. They were referred to, or we were referred to them by Renee Weiler at Data Vision. They're a local marketing company that, specializes in, smaller public relation campaigns, educational campaigns. And so when he brought the contract to me, I decided I was gonna have Lisa Freely, our attorney, look at it. And of course, attorneys love to look at contracts, and so she's just created all of this information. So we're still in the bargaining or the negotiation process about the logistics of the contract. But what I needed to share with you is that board policy allows me to approve contracts up to $30,000, and this one is $50,000. And so I wanted to make sure that you were aware, and I received your approval to move in this direction. You'll see that the deliverables in this includes 3 videos a month, social media postings, print media, advertising. And so what we're doing with the video production and social media, like that is very expensive to engage in and way beyond our capacity. Like we could do the little newsletter that we do every 6 weeks, which is coming out next week again. But this kind of video capability is not something that we have any expertise in. And I can share with you that based on doing previous research, when we went and hired Mark Kwan to do like the layout and our logo design, this is very reasonable in terms of the amount of production that we're going to have.
Jenny, is it possible for us to see like an example of some of their prior work?
Yeah, he did show. I can bring it to the next meeting.
I would just be
Yeah.
curious to see that.
Yeah, he's done, he's worked, their company has worked with a lot of, not a lot, several political action committees and done campaigning for not only various candidates, but also bills or causes. And so they have done the promotional materials. And they have done work for Data Vision, just on a smaller scale, not like what the company that Renee went with for the video that we did with Data Vision was a more expensive,
That one was
Different.
pretty good. too.
Yeah.
But
but their work is good.
Okay.
Yeah. And so the other piece is that he wants to use student workers, so that's why the contract includes things like they have to have the sexual misconduct training, they have to have the liability insurance, and just like any other contractor. So they're going to use students in the videos, the student voice, as well as use students to help produce the videos. So if there's kids that are interested in maybe that as a career or just a hobby, he's going to engage them in that way. And then they are going to join the PAC, and they will also be producing things for the PAC. So for us, it's just informational, educational, explaining the why, not telling people how to vote.
no, and they can tap into the journalism
Yes,
tool
yeah,
too, which would be
Mhm.
great with that.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So do we have time to process this, or is this something you want us to actually move forward on tonight?
I want you to move forward on it tonight because
It's on time.
we have to get going on the production of it.
Gotcha.
But also know that if you're not happy, there's a clause in here that allows you to exit and not pay the full amount.
I did see something
Yeah.
on termination by
Yeah.
either party.
Yeah.
Okay. You have any, did you,
No,
Yeah.
I'm good. I mean,
other Maria,
I don't remember.
Angie?
No,
Okay.
So the wording for that is on page 92 of your packet.
that's it in every school.
District number 1 Board of Directors approved the contract for marketing advertising firm and Mrs. Stevens.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I have it. Okay, now we're down to discussion items.
So the first thing on the agenda is my evaluation. It's at your January 3rd board meeting. Kristen Miles will be coming to the meeting. I think she said she'd take about 30 minutes.
Okay.
But she wants you to look over the standards that I'll be evaluated on, and by the January 3rd meeting, be prepared to identify, I believe it's 3 standards that get put out in the survey. You'll evaluate in all of the standards, but there will be 3 that can go to the survey. And so she just said it would be helpful if you were ready to discuss as a group which ones you felt were important. And then when she's here on January 3rd, she'll outline what the timeline is.
Okay, so the standards 1 through 8,
Right.
and I guess I
Choose 3.
we choose 3, but would she remind us from last year?
Oh, I can ask her for that. Yeah.
I would
that's
really
a-
like, because
Yeah.
that's where I would think we would want to build upon.
Okay.
I agree with that.
I'll email her tomorrow
Thank
and
you.
ask her what those standards were, and then I'll let you guys know. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you, Jandy.
Okay, and then when she's here that night, we'll also do a little bit of work on your scholarship project. So we're touching base on that.
Awesome.
Okay, so going into the working session for January 3rd, so besides the evaluation and working with Kristen on the scholarship piece, you're also going to
Hear from the auditors.
and then Creighton needs to come and talk to you for about 10 or 15 minutes about the feedback that he received on all of the community or school-based health center engagement that he's done. And he's required to give the board an update before he goes into the next phase of that research. So that'll be about 15 minutes. And then we have Rebecca Stuker coming from IBI, and she's gonna have the feedback that the bond committee, the pre-bond committee met, and they gave feedback about what would they do, what would they take out, how would they adjust it. So she's got that, and then she's got another proposal, so idea number 5 that kind of synthesizes all of those priorities and tries to balance them out. And so she's going to have them printed on paper. You're going to do some sticky notes and discussion. So that board meeting will probably be a couple of hours because you are going to be pretty engaged. And the idea of after you're done with that work, you will give me direction to give to the pre-bond committee because they meet then the following Monday. And it might be that is their last meeting. And so then we'll have another report back out to you at the January regular meeting. And then at the February meeting, you have to decide if you want to go for the bonds, because right after your meeting, then the next week, we have to file the paperwork. Deja vu. So I was really, it was good to be in the committee work. I thought people had some really good ideas, and they kind of came up with some good solutions and strategies. So we've got a couple of things we're researching right now still, but we'll be able to report back in January so that you can make the best decision.
Great. Very good. Okay, so
You have 3 policies for your first reading, and it's just the first reading, so I don't know if you had any questions that you wanted me to research or.
No, I didn't have anything. I read them and me. I mean,
okey-doke.
Okay.
I think that's. Are we good? You already told us on the future agenda items. So, I'm gonna adjourn this meeting. What I live, everybody out of here. Okay.